rekindling. Welcome to the experience. Thank you.
And our first presenter is Reverend Luke A. Shootingstar Walters. Just a special thank you to Luke. The inspiration for this, really the spark, was when you sent an email out very much on this topic, and we got a conversation started about a series of webinars on this topic. So welcome, Luke.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. Here we go. The experience. So, yes, I'm Luke, a shooting star. And this presentation is to illuminate a path for us with lived experience that is very much needed for us to walk, those of us that are called to this path in these times. As the system is seeking to absorb peers into it, this path is very important to also consider for stewarding or like championing the heart and soul and the earth and our connection to the ecosystem. I would like to also take a moment to address some confusion and consternation, because I do identify as a minister, and that doesn't mean that I'm going to seek to convert people to some sort of a religion, but it is important for us to have representatives and ambassadors for the population to advocate for these views and these issues. And as a minister, it is important to have these champions. And if there is a religion that I seek to gather people into, it is wellness. And the force of this, the essence of this, the presence of this is what is needed in our lives and in the world today. I'm interested as a universalist minister in taking away the human constructed creations, the words, the images, the graven images, the scriptures. What are we left with? What, with a capital W, what is this? Well, I'd say that wellness is a pretty good word for it, even though that's also human creation. Peace as well. Thank you. Join us in the journey. Let's start with what is wellness? A great starting point for the journey of rediscovery, which is similar to recovery, but another angle on it. What is wellness for you? This is a starting point for the journey. How does it appear in your life? What does it smell like, taste like? When do you feel the effect of it more, and when do you feel it less in your life? SAMHSA, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration of the United States, defines wellness as not the absence of disease, illness, or stress, but the presence of purpose in life. Active involvement in satisfying work and play, joyful relationships, a healthy body and environment, and happiness. I insert sustainable happiness because I believe that is important. And my presentation is about purpose, so there's a direct connection with wellness. But let's start with what's wellness for you. That's the important thing, because the journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. It starts with initiative. Can we just have somebody else do it for us? Can we put wellness in a cookie or a pill and give it to somebody and make it all better? It would be that simple. Can it be pasteurized, cloned, grown in test tubes? Or is it an organic phenomena with a life of its very own, unique for each person? Similar to a living plant, wellness can be grown with healthy supports. It starts with initiative. What activities and ingredients promote wellness in your life or counter supportive wellness? These are great questions to ask oneself embarking on the journey. What factors lead up to a descent into despair, crisis, instability, suffering? What purpose do these serve in life? Truly, there's a reason to learn, to grow. What is this? And how can we ever fall away from grace if we have met our needs for existence? Is it possible to sustain this? Homeostasis is defined as a state of sustained balance. So what is crisis? What does it look like? This absence of wellness in life. Oftentimes we see the tip of an iceberg. There's a hint, there's a clue, can allow us to see more. So creating a map is oftentimes helpful for people if they can recall the stages, the timeline that led into despair and suffering and crisis. Oftentimes that helps us to gain insight and develop a recipe for how sustainable wellness can be achieved and maintained. Improve our chances of success. So I have a sample map shown here. It's very helpful insight. There are many models for maintaining health, and each has their rightful place and value. It's really important to maintain this peace to complement wellness. And peace in the health system is to find the value of all of this. Medicine, education, each very helpful to till the soil for wellness that may return again in our lives, sustained for a season in the symbolic garden of one's world. So it's really important to mention that recovery is a stage. Recovery, getting out of crisis, stability from crisis is a stage. But it all, in my view, leads to back to life. Recovery is not the end goal. We're not going to be dysfunctional all of our lives. The end goal is sustainable wellness. And SAMHSA shares about wellness very well in the 8 dimensions of wellness, recognized as a core center of the wellness model. So back to what is wellness for you, as you can see from how they illuminate it here in this illustration, there's a lot to it. Is it possible for you to have your homeostasis balance through having a lot of social activities or going to the gym or going to your meditations? And how can you increase your understanding and your wellness in life through also seeing to these other needs? It's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs stuff. Hmm. To champion the ripple effect. Whoa. Once we have our understanding of this wellness and the journey takes us along, we become more influential. And this leads to sustainable wellness support. Viewed in the larger spectrum of the 8 dimensions, I see that it's another way of saying permaculture. Just one drop is all it takes of influence to become very influential in the ripple effect. We are champions. We can be. The journey of rediscovering wellness is raising awareness in our story, whether it be her story or history of influence in the world that leads to wellness or to woe. To champion the ripple effect is to advance an awareness of wellness support. Each person's sphere of influence is a different size, depending on one's own capacity for attention. For someone, it can be a neighborhood, a county, or as quantum physics suggests, for some it may even be their whole planet or a surrounding galaxy. And we can expand our capacity, be they large or small. All of our efforts do matter. To champion the ripple effect is to achieve mastery of sustainable wellness by cultivating great awareness of the influence that spills over beyond one's own life. There's an oil spill of the River Marañón in Peru here, and on the flip side, there's an event function of the City Repair's Tea Horse serving tea and hospitality to people in Portland, Oregon. So expanding our sphere of influence is possible for us as individuals, collectively, together in groups. Mastering sustainable wellness is like finding a light or a supportive wind for our engine, the sails of a ship, a kind of life force. Therefore, to champion the ripple effect is similar to the fictional role of a Jedi. And now we're touching upon that other path that we can walk as peers with lived experience at these times. The very real benefit, though, aside from fiction, is taking up this mantle, a rediscovery of life purpose. The journey of a rediscovery eventually brings us, each person, to a place in life where we want to be of service in a variety of influential ways. I've used the term epicenters because it's the best term for this that I've found. Recovery learning communities are another way of saying it. Community clubhouses, centers. Epicenters works best for me. And the difference between recovery learning communities and wellness epicenters is we do believe that there is a stage beyond recovery. And this is peering beyond into sustainable wellness. Some examples of these paths of service are prevention, engagement, support, collaborative oversight, options for those of us that may choose to walk this path, hear this calling as issuing from the earth. And we'll go into some examples of these. In prevention, influences we come into contact in life can increase the risk that our homeostasis or balanced existence of wellness is disrupted. A fall from grace can be avoided, though, with supportive influences in your life. Some examples of prevention services are peer-run respite houses, new family parent support groups, programs. You can advocate for expand crisis prevention services near you through local advisory councils to government, too. I'd also like to point out that respite is like relaxation and rejuvenation, and it has a direct correlation with the essence of nature, the influence that nature has in our life, taking walks, hikes, camping, gardening, When we're back on the map of existence again, we associate. This is engagement. We want to participate. This is a joy. It's a natural wellspring within us of desire, pursuing engagement with life wherever we find it. And with rediscovered purpose in life often comes renewed relevance. This means that we belong. Examples of engagement activities can include community service events, hospitality services like serving food and beverage, offering clothes to folks that need it, outreach to at-risk persons, refugees, survivors of misfortune, the houseless populations. And there's many more. The support aspect. Wellness support can be for any of the 8 dimensions of wellness. Whatever you're strong at, there's many options for how you can deliver this to the folks that need it in your community. The wellness model is put into action by intentionally weaving together activities between organizations through strategic collaborations. Wraparound services, for example, that more than one organization offer to maximize mutual benefit for local area networks. Examples of support services include day-use drop-in centers, or well springs as we call it in the Wellness Initiative Network, job referrals and in-house job programs to help people get the vocational wellness in their life, residential supports like rural farming in more spacious, beautiful settings outside of the cities, and long-term urban housing. So they connect together. This is a conversation that Oryx and I really connected strongly on that led into this webinar. Collaborative oversight. So this is where we really piece it together. You know, the right hand talks to the left hand. It happens consistently enough. This is what happens in the epicenters, like the leadership, strategy, intentionality of it. Coordination orchestrated through an epicenter to connect the points on the map of a region are weaved together intentionally for collaboration with local allied partnerships. Some key aspects of this influence are regional conferences organized, media productions to raise awareness, presence on government advisory councils, quality standards, policy, and licensing advisory, forming coalitions and associations of organizations. This last one often involves a charter, but doesn't always need to. But agreements on paper, intentionality, and dedication to the cause, very important. We do have a charter that we can offer, and I also encourage other organizations and coalitions to bring it to this level together. And this is what we're leading up to: uniting wellness support with permaculture, dedication to a cause and ability to make a difference in the communities comes from being aware of the influence of the 8 dimensions of wellness in our own life, and it spills beyond. Wellness support, along with understanding of permaculture practices, could ripple out to slow or even reverse climate change. Examples of such activity combinations include respite houses that were built with reclaimed wood from other older houses and plant pots crafted from reused yogurt tubs or coffee containers. They make great plant pots. Social enterprises reusing composted food waste. So much you can do with it, and it's profitable. Puppet showings made from repurposed clothing. Oh yeah, can think of some great pieces, some fun puppets. So uniting wellness support with permaculture. There's some examples of some organizations I've seen, and I invite you to send some other great examples so we can populate a list and facilitate the connections. City Repair Project here in Portland, based in Portland, but traveling around the world to meet the interest around the globe for permaculture and building villages and collaborations of great activities. Earth Guardians International, also founded by Indigenous youth, and Food by Design, local here to Portland, but really, really great mission as well, providing garden grown foods to people that need it, and involving people in recovery to learn purpose, restore purpose. The reward of value that comes from the journey of rediscovery is insight into the nature of this, what is crisis on the personal level, and what is wellness on the personal level, and it leads, when it spills beyond, to the larger. The inherent potential is to bring forth the value of successful recovery on the grandest of scales, to revitalize our society in the 8 dimensions of our world. A tall order, yes, and this may be the next step in our collective species' journey as human, well, beings. We'll see. May you find a way to deliver that reward. And I have a dream, and I want to share this dream with you. Welcome. That those of us who have suffered through the worst life has to offer and live to tell the tale will find strength within and self-respect, and that we have overcome the most impassable of paths. We, she, and he have survived through journey of darkest night and deep underworld. We could be heroes in the here and now, at a time of the greatest need, to share a light of hope and offer healing in this state of crisis on the grandest of planetary scales. May you find a place of respect in the world. The fires of life have forged wisdom and resiliency in you. You have been tested by the greatest of forces and are found worthy. You are wanted. Let the value in you, recovered from the journey, guide others to a way of grace. May our community of all peoples accept us for our place as the experts we are, to lead in the healing of the greater body that we exist within. May our journey serve to revitalize and restore balance to our ecosystem so we will know peace on Earth. This is the flag of the society I've established, and we are growing. To speak of this life beyond, there is still purpose. There is a new life available, waiting. To learn more about this, initiating Ripples of Wellness campaign, I invite you to connect with us, become allies, look into upcoming trainings, events offered, or invite us to an event. Thank you. It is time to evolve from identity as many isolated individuals, some in groups, coalitions, organizations, communities, and even entire movements, to become a society of peers. Thank you. And blessed be.
Represent the great planet ship, Keep a walking on the cool side.